want to, so to speak, jump in. Okay. Okay, since we got a longish long daf today. Okay. All right. Okie doke. I'd like us to start sort of on the bottom of 99B, Sadi Tet Amud Beis. I'm not sure where it would be in Art Scroll, probably towards the very end. Okay. Again, remember we've talked about the fact of throwing. Raised the question, is throwing a subset of ma'avir, of transferring? Is it something else? We talked about the question of the height. If it's above 10 amos, it's a makom p'tur. If it's 3 or below, that's a different issue because you've got the issue of lavud. And so 3 to 10 tfachim, that middle area, okay, transferring from one domain to another is clearly prohibited, certainly if it goes more than Daled Amos, more than the 4 cubits, right? So let's pick up then towards the very bottom next to the last line, okay, of Tzadi Tet Amud Beis, Amar Rava. That seems to be a good place to start, okay? Amar Rava says, Rava Pshitali, Mayim al Gabe Mayim, Hainu Hanachatan, okay? Says Rava, certain to me, he says, it's obvious to me that water lying upon water, okay, all right, that is like something resting, right? It goes al gabe mayim, but if you have a nut floating on the water, right, lav hainu hanachatan, since that's not its normal or natural place to rest, okay, why should that be considered one chayiv? So by Rava. So Rava then asks the following question, right? It goes bekli. If you have a nut that's in a utensil, a vessel, right? Uklit safal gabe mayim, and the utensil, the vessel is floating on the water. Mahu, what's its status? Mi amrinan batar it goes as linen. Okay, following the Gemara, do we say that we declare this and after the example of the nut, v'haniach, and here it's resting, o dilma, or perhaps, but tarkliyas linen, that we follow after the issue of the vessel. Okay, v'hai, and this, namely kli, lo niach, the kli is not resting, it's still floating, okay, on the water. Teku, we do not have a final distinction, a final answer. Okay. Take another similar example, but a little more complicated. Okay. Shemen al gabe yayin. You have oil that's now floating on wine. And let's assume for the moment that this particular oil is truma, comes from truma. Therefore, it's only acceptable for Kohen, right? Machloket Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri v'Rabbanan. This comes back to a different issue, which is a machloket between, we said, the two of them, Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbanan, Ditznan, as taught the following. Shemen shetzaf al gabe yayin, if you have oil, and we said it's truma oil, floating on wine, v'negat tvul yom b'shemen, and someone who is a tvul yom, in other words, he has immersed, but he's waiting to become tahor at nightfall, and therefore he still has some level of tuma associated with him, and he has contact with this oil. What's the status, of course, of the wine? lo pasal. Okay? In other words, he doesn't render the wine pasul, but he might render only the oil pasul. Ela shemen. Okay? But rather only the oil. Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri omer shnehem. According to Rabbi Yochanan, even though the Braita says one, Rabbi Yochanan says both of them. Why? Chibur zeh lezeh. Because one is attached, okay, to the other. Right? And so based on that statement, okay, that both would, according to Rabbi Yochanan, both would be Tameh. According to Rabbanan, no. Okay, let's go on to a new example, right? Amar Abaye. Abaye gives us the following, right? Since we know that cisterns, pits, were used for collecting water, okay? And the pit might have a pile of earth around it, okay? How deep is the pit? Because if the pit is certainly 10 tfachim deep, including the pit surrounding it, does that make it a separate rishus? Okay? Bor b'rishus harabim, says Abai. You have a pit that's in the public domain. Amuka asara rechava shmona. Okay, and it is 10 tfachim deep, okay, and 8 tfachim wide, okay. That's going to make it a reshus hayachid, okay. V'zarak l'tocha machatzelet, okay, and somebody throws into the pit a reed mat, okay. Chayav, okay, he is considered culpable. Okay, he's thrown something from outside, which is Rishus Harabim, into the pit, Rishus Yachid, and therefore he is Chayav. Okay. However, the Gemara the Abai continues, Chelka b'machatzelet. Let's assume that when he now throws it into the pit, he throws it not so that it lies flat, okay, on the bottom of the pit, but he throws it so that it lies almost upright, okay, the reed mat, okay? In other words, what's going to happen, okay? It's as if he splits that pit in half, okay? So you've got 10 deep, but you've only got, okay, in a sense, 4 amos across, right? And then 4 amos across with the mat as if it's making a partition, okay? Chilka b'machzelet, if he does it and he throws it then, so then by throwing the mat in, the mat splits, right? And each then is actually less than 4 cubits, right? The pit then is no longer, right? What? Is it no longer Rishus Yachid? Does it come back to being Rishus Rabbi? Patur, he's exempt. Excuse me. La'abai tepshitele demechatzelet mevatla mechitza. Okay? So according to Abaye then, he says that it seems certain to him that the mat then nullifies the partition. Okay? Right? If that's the case, right? Kol shekain chulia demavatla mechitzelet. Okay? And certainly, okay, any kind of segment further would annul the partition. Okay? Now, the Rabbi Yochanan, right? The Mabaye le chulia, okay? For Rabbi Yochanan, however, okay, the segment is a problem. Machatzelet pshita de lo mevatla mechitzata. okay, and for Rabbi Yochanan, then the mat, okay, does not annul the partition. Okay? So in that particular case, the mat doesn't become a part of the pit, okay, and therefore, according to him, therefore it would still be a reshus yachid. Okay? Going on now. V'amar Abaye. Abaye gives us another example. Bor b'reshut rabim. Again, we have a pit in the public domain. Amuka asara, right? It is 10, right? Deep, right? Rechava arba'a, okay? And it is 4 across, Malaya mayim. And now this pit is full of water. Vizarak letocha. And he throws something, an object, whatever it is, into the pit. Chayav. Okay? According to this Abaye's statement, he would be culpable. Malaya perot. If, however, the pit was not full of water, but it was full of produce. Okay? Vizarak letocha. And he throws an object into it. Patur. He would be exempt. My tama, what's the reasoning? Mayim lo mevatle mechitzata. Okay, says Abaye, that the water does not nullify the partition. In other words, it does not, the pit will still be a reshus yachid in spite of the water. Perot mevatle mechitzata. But the produce, on the other hand, does annul the partition. It does, because you add that object, okay, to the produce, it therefore means that there's less content, okay, in the base of the pit, and so therefore it's less than the 4 cubits, and thus it no longer is a reshus yachid. Okay, Tanya nami hachi, and we have a braita that also teaches us this same thing. Hazorek min hayam leistarita taya. Okay, one who throws something from the sea onto, let's call it a highway, okay, a major thoroughfare. Umin ha'istartaya bayam, or who throws something from the highway again into the sea. Patur is exempt. Okay, why? Rabbi Shimon Omer im yesh b'makom shezarak amok asara. Okay, he is arguing, right, that if the item, okay, from where it was thrown is 10 deep, right, v'rachav arba'a, and 4 wide, chayav, he is guilty. Why? Because he would say that location, Rabbi Shimon, is a different reshus than the isrataya, okay, which is public domain. So he was throwing from private through public into the sea, which is a Carmelite. Okay, so he would still be chayav, according to Rabbi Shimon. Okay, we're now continuing with a new Mishnah. Hazorek arba amot bakotel. Let's take a different example, says the Mishnah. One throws an item, okay, from one domain, okay, into another, and does so the 4 amos, and he throws it, okay, onto a wall. Lamala me asrat fachim. If he throws it and it goes above 10 fachim, kizorek ba'avir, okay, it's like he throws it into the air, okay, higher than 10 fachim. And we said that's a makom ptur, that's an exempt area. Lamata me'asrat tfachim, if it's lower than 10 tfachim, kizorek ba'aretz. It's like he's throwing it along the ground, right? And would land on the ground. Hazorek ba'aretz arba amot chayav. Why? Because we say that if one who throws an item 4 cubits from one domain to another, he is culpable. Okay, so the Gemara asks a interesting question. We said you throw something onto the wall. Vahalonach, says the Gemara as a question, but it didn't rest there. In other words, doesn't it have to be that the person is chayav only when it goes from one domain to another domain? He picked it up, yes, but it didn't rest, didn't come down in the second domain. So he didn't complete the act. If he didn't complete the act and it didn't rest, why then is he to be considered culpable? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, in that particular example, Dveila Shmeina Shaninu, we taught it in regarding to a sticky fig cake, a juicy, sticky fig cake. That's what he threw. I know it sounds strange, okay? And it got stuck on the wall. So in a sense, it did come to rest. Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Amar Rav, Amar Rabbi Chia, okay? And says, okay, Rabbi Yehuda in the name of Rav and the name of Rabbi Chia, okay? Zarak lamala me'asara, okay? V'halcha v'nacha bechur koshem. Let's say he throws something, an object, a stone, okay, or something else, and it goes and it lands, and even though it went higher than 10 tfachim, it goes and it lands in a hole in the wall, right? Bechur koshem, in a hole like this, some size in the wall. Okay. Banu lemachloket Rabbi Meir v'Rabbanan. Then we come to a argument between Rabbi Meir and the rabbis. The Rabbi Meir da'amar, for according to Rabbi Meir, right? What does he say? Da'amar chokakin lahashlim mechayev. Okay, that so to speak, if we carve to complete, in other words, this stone then fills in the hole in that wall, so it comes to complete it, okay, the hollow, the hole that was there, and therefore he's chayav. The Rabbanan, the Amre ein chokakin lahashlim, lo mechayev. And according to the rabbis, however, they say that that throwing of the stone does not complete or fill in the crevice or the hole that's there in the wall, and therefore they say that he is not culpable. Tanya nami hachi, and we have a braita that teaches as well, zarak lamala me'asara, if he throws something above 10, right? V'halcha v'nacha bechor kolshu, and it goes and it winds up resting in a crevice or a hole in the wall of whatever the size. Rabbi Meir mechayev. Rabbi Meir says he is culpable. V'chachamim potren, and the sages say he is not culpable. Okay. Now we're going to get to another case, right? This case is a little bit more complicated, okay? Remember, I suggested to you that you have a pit, okay? And after the pit is dug, and the mound of earth from the pit is on the side, okay? Surrounding the pit, okay? Now, what happens if we say that this mound of earth, the amount of earth that you dug out of the pit, is equal in height to 10 handbreadths. Okay? And as you dug the pit, okay, this mound of earth is now on an incline. Okay? And from the measurement from the start of the edge of the pit where the mound of earth starts, all the way back for that incline is 4 amos. Okay? So think of a triangle, so to speak, all right? There, next to this pit, is that going to be a separate rishus, a separate domain? Because it is at the base 4 amos, 4 cubits, and it's 10 handbreadths high. Okay? So looking now, Amar Rav Yehuda. This is Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav in Rav's name. Tal Hamit Laket. So this is an inclined kind of pile, an inclined mound of earth, reaching up to a height, we said, of 10 handbreadths, spread out over 4 cubits. Asara mitoch arba, just explained. Vizarak v'nach al gabav, and somebody throws something and it rests on top of this mound of earth, chayav, okay, would be culpable. Tanya nami hachi, and we have a braita that also teaches the following, okay? Since I'm sure some of us have traveled in Jerusalem, you know there are alleyways, okay? Some alleyways are flat, but some have a descent or some have an ascent, okay? Right? So says the Gemara, Tanya nami hachi, we have a braita that teaches mabui sheshave letocho. Okay, we have this alleyway. Okay, and it's at one part of it is level. V'ne'aseh midron the reshus harabi, but then it slopes down a descent to bring us to the public domain. Let's say the main street. Or Shavel Rishus Harabim, or the alley may be parallel to the Rishus Harabim, Vanaaseh Midron L'tocho, and then there is a descent in the alleyway going down. Okay, is that descent, okay, low enough, okay, to now render that later part of the alleyway a separate rishus, right? Otoma boy, eino tzarich lo lechi v'lo kora, says the Gemara. That particular change in the level, okay, of the alleyway, even though we might think it makes it a separate domain, it does not need a lechi or a beam. It does not need a clear, let's call it marker for the moment, all right? To convert it into telling us that it's a separate domain. Rabbi Chanina ben Gamliel Omer, he says, okay, in regards to the same issue, Tal Hamit Laket, if we've got this inclined mound of earth, Asarami Toch Arba, and we said again that its height is 4 handbreadths, spread over 4 cubits. V'zorak v'nach al gabav chayav. Okay, and someone throws something on it and it lands on it, he is culpable. Okay, still dealing with examples now of throwing in the next new Mishnah. Okay, Says our Mishnah, Zarak letoch arba amot. Okay? Somebody throws an object within Dalet Amos of the new domain. It's a different domain. Okay? Venit galgel chutz la'arba amot. Okay? And it rolls, okay, beyond the 4 cubits. Patur. He's exempt. If he throws the object chutz la'arba amot, beyond the 4 cubits, venit galgel letoch arba amot, and it sort of rolls back within, if I can use that term, within the 4 cubits, chayav, he is considered culpable. Okay? Gemara says, Vaha lo nach. But here we say the object didn't rest. It didn't stop. Either it rolled one way or rolled another way. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, says Rabbi Yochanan, Vahu shenach al gabe mashu. Says Rabbi Yochanan, we accept the idea that it did come eventually to rest on something, whatever its size was. Tanya nami hachi. Okay? In other words, it could be, let's say, that the wind blew it. Okay? But we're going to get to that in more detail in a moment. Okay? And we have a braita that teaches Zarak chutz la'arba amot. We have somebody threw an object beyond 4 amos, udechafto haruach, and the wind blew it back, vehichnisa ta'o, and it therefore blowing it back, okay, it carried it back to within the 4 amos, v'afal pi shechazra v'hotziato, and even though it came back and moved it, patur, okay, is exempt. Achasto haruach mashu, okay, if the wind held it for a moment, okay, the object, and then blew it back, afal pi shechazra v'hichnisato chayav. Even that in case, okay, if the carries it again, okay, then he is chayav. Amar Rava. And so Rava says, Toch shlosha l'Rabbanan tzrich hanacha al gabe mashu. He says an article that's within 3 handbreadths must, according to the rabbis, rest on something, whatever the size is. Now, Yativ Merimar v'kamar la laha shmata. Merimar was sitting, and he was learning and reviewing this particular lesson. Amar le Ravina la Merimar, and Ravina says to Merimar, as we go to the next Amud, Lav hayinu matnitin. Isn't this something that we can determine from our Mishnah? Va'amar Rabbi Yochanan, where Rabbi Yochanan commented, Vahu shenach al gav mashu, where it eventually rested on something. Okay? Amar le, with galgel ka'amart, are you talking about something that was rolling? Mitgalgel in sofo lanuach. Okay? If it's a rolling object, it's not, didn't come to rest. Aval hai, kevan de sofo lanuach. But the is case, where eventually it is going to come to rest, afal gav de lo nach, even though now it didn't rest at the moment, keman de nach dame, kamash malan. It's as if, therefore, it did rest, and that's what it comes to teach us. Okay, now we get to a new Mishnah. Again, throwing objects. I mentioned earlier that the sea is considered a Carmelite. We'll keep that in mind as we start this new Mishnah. Matnitin hazorek bayam arba amot patur. Okay, if he throws an object of 4 cubits, that distance, in the sea, okay, he is exempt. Im haya rakak mayim, okay? If, however, there is what we'll call a pool of water, one translation wants to give simply shallow water. Others want to say swamp, okay? I think we can think of, let's say, when the road floods, okay? And you've got a certain amount of water on the road, okay? Ureshut harabim, okay? Mahalechet bo. And this, okay, remember Babylonia had a lot of swamps, wet, okay? And I think there's a highway in Florida, someplace that like goes near the swamps, and therefore I assume that it could get flooded sometimes. So that's our image, okay? And this highway passes through this road passes through this shallow pool of water, right? Hazorek letocho arba amot chayav, says this Mishnah, that if one throws something on this into that water, okay, he would be chayav. V'kamahu rakak mayim, and the question is, how deep is that, let's say, pool of water, right? Pachot me'asrat tfachim. It's less than 10 tfachim, okay? If that's the case, okay, it seems difficult. Rakak mayim, reshut harabim, mahalechet bo. Okay, now we have another statement that says, if there's the pool of water and a public road passing through it, all right, hazorek b'tocho, one who throws something onto it, right, arba amot chayav, is considered culpable. So it's as if the Mishnah is repeating itself, these last two lines. So the Gemara is going to say, okay, as follows. Amarle, he said to him, Hahu mi Rabbanan, the Rabbah. One of the rabbis said to Rabbah, Bishlema hiluch trei zimne. Okay, that's understandable, okay, that it mentions the fact that the road passes through the shallow pool twice, right? Ha-kamashmalan, here it comes to teach us, hiluch al yedei hadochak, shmei hiluch, namely, that in one case it tells us that crossing through this pool of water, okay, if done, can be done through difficulty, right? Shmei chiluch is still considered traversing, passing through it, right? Right? Hiluch tashmish, okay? Al yedei hadachak, lo shmei tashmish, okay? But on the other hand, okay, that using it, okay, without difficulty is not considered use of it. Right? Now, Ella rather, rakak, the fact that it refers to the pool twice, trei zimne, lamali. Why is that the case? Okay, so the Gemara answers, chad biyamot hachama, v'chad biyamot kshamim. One time we're referring to passage during the summer months, and another time during the rainy season, the winter months. Excuse me. Utrichi, and we needed to give both examples, right? De'itanachada, because if we had only taught one example, Hava Amina, I might have said, Hani Mili Biyamot Chama, that this was during the summer months. Da'avide Inshe, demisage la'akuri nafshaihu, because people would commonly walk through that pool of water because it would give them an opportunity to cool themselves off. Aval biyamot kshamim lo, but during winter months, no. Ve'i ashma'in biyamot kshamim, and if they had only taught the example of during the winter months, the rainy season, the chayvan, the mitnafe, okay, lo ichpat laho, okay, and since during that time of the year they get dirty anyway, it doesn't matter if they have to walk through this pool of water. Aval biyamot hachama lo, but during the summer days they wouldn't walk through it. Abai Amar, okay, it's tarif. And Abai says, no, they were both, examples were needed. Okay? Why? Salka da'atcha amina, because it's possible I might have thought or said, Hani mili, hechad delo have arba amot, that maybe it was taking the fact that it wasn't, the pool wasn't 4 cubits long. But where it is 4 cubits, in other words, the amount of water on the road, akufe makfele, that people normally would have gone around it. Okay? Rav Ashi Amar, it's tarif. Rav Ashi is going to give another different explanation. It was necessary to explain, to give the example. Salka da'atcha amina, because again, I would have thought that I could have said, Hani mili, hechad hava arba, where it was 4. About hechad lo have arba, but where it's not 4 amos, nifsa'e pas'aile, the people simply would have stepped over it. Va'az the Rav Ashi l'ta'ameh, and Rav Ashi followed his explanation, his own view. The Amar Rav Ashi, says Rav Ashi, Ha'iman da zarik v'nach aguda de gamla. Okay, let's say a person takes an object and he throws it, and it lands aguda de gamla on a beam or a plank of the bridge. Mechayev, right? He is culpable. Shaharei rabim bokin bo. Why? Because many people step on it, step over it, jump over it, go through it, pass through it, and therefore it is considered basically, okay, instead of simply stepping over it, they would walk through that water, walking on the plank or the beam, and therefore it might be considered, even if it, with its 4 amos, a separate rishus. Okay, let's go on to our new Mishnah again. Hazorek min hayam liyabasha. Someone throws an object from the sea onto dry land. Okay. So we're throwing it from the sea, which we said is a Carmelit, to Rishus Harabi. Okay. Umin hayabasha layam, or from the dry land to the sea. Umin hayam l'sfina, or from the sea to a boat. Umin asfina layam, or who throws it from the boat into the sea. Umin asfina l'chaverta, or from one boat to another boat, patur, he is exempt. So the Gemara clarifies the Mishnah by saying, Sfinot kshurot zo bezo, that this is when the boats are tied up one to another. Metaltalin mizo mizo, that it's possible then to carry from one to another. Okay? Im enan kshurot, but if the boats are not tied together, afal pisha mukafot, even though, okay, we might say that they are adjacent, close to one another, ein metaltalin mizo lazo. One cannot carry from one to the next. Now, picking up in our Gemara, right? Okay. In doing so, we're going to talk more about boats, okay? And I just want to point out again that as we get into to this topic, we'll see eventually that the Gemara is going to refer to different styles of boats as well, okay? And I just want to point out that, remember, there's a difference, let's say, between the Roman boats, okay, that were flat on the bottom, but then had towards the front and the back pieces going up, okay, right? I don't remember which one, they call it a keel or whatever, okay? So, right? So that is going to eventually come into a discussion. But right now, let's focus on the following. Itmar, it was said in regards to this, sfina, in regards to a boat, okay, and what happens? Rav Huna Amar, says Rav Huna, Motzein himenu ziz kol shehu, okay, that basically one can put let's call it a pole or a projection of some kind, okay? In other words, in lowering something from the side of the boat, okay? It's as if you're creating a reshus, a domain, okay? Going from the side of the boat down into the depths of the water, okay? Umemale, okay? And in that case, he says, when you lower something like a bucket or something, okay, you can lower it into the sea next to the boat. That part of the sea is the Carmelit. Underneath the boat, okay, and the boat may be a separate domain, but you're going from a Carmelit into the, let's say, a separate domain, but you'd still be patur, right? You can fill up, you take the water from the sea and bring it onto the boat. Rav Chisda v'Rava bar Rav Huna, Amrei, the two of them say, okay, Oseh makom arba'a umimale. They disagree. They say, what do you have to do? You have to set up a, what I'll call for the moment, a floating contraption with a hole in it. Now, the floating piece has to be the size large enough so it creates a separate, let's say, reshus, and then you would lower your bucket through the hole or the square in that contraption, in that floating piece. So you're going from one reshus yachid, pulling it on to your boat, which becomes another reshus yachid. Okay? Rav Huna Amar, Motzi himena ziz kol shehu mimale. Rav Huna, however, says that you can put this stick, this pole, okay, into the water, okay, and that's enough of a way of making the ship, the boat, as if it's a separate, okay, designating the domain, okay. And kosher kesavar. Why does he hold that way? Carmelit me'ara mashchina. Okay, that we can measure from the Carmelit onto land, right, or into a new area. Va'avira makom paturhu, and the air bringing the item above the water level through the air onto the boat, that is a makom patur. Ubadinhu, disease, nami lo labaye. And by right, actually, you don't even need this ziz, this projection, this pole. Ela ki hechi de lahavi lehekera. But it's simply done as a sign, a reminder, okay, of the case. Rav Chisda v'Rava bar Rav Huna Amrei, the two of them said, Osema kom arba'a umimale. They said that you have to make this, what I call contraption, okay, this floating item with a hole in the middle, okay, kesavre karmalit. Why? Because they're of the opinion in regards to the karmalit, misvat maya mash chinin, that we measure from the, even though the sea, the water is a karmalit, we measure from the surface of the water. Okay? Maya ara smi chata. Okay? And they argue then that the water, okay, is almost similar to ground. Okay? That it's another domain. Ilo avid makom arba'a. And if you therefore don't make this floating contraption, creating it as a separate domain, okay, of four, kamataltel mikarmalit l'reshut hayachid. Okay, then you're carrying from the karmalit to reshut yachid, which is not acceptable to them.
Is it almost like an Eruv?
That's a good question, Ted. That's a good question. I wouldn't say it's like an Eruv, because an Eruv, remember, you're joining domains. Here you're not joining the two domains. You're saying this is a private domain, and the boat is a private domain. So if I pull it from one private domain, the air is a patur, and then I put it in another domain. So in another similar domain. Okay? That's how I understood it. Okay? Amarle Rav Nachman. So now Rav Nachman is saying the Rava bar Avuha. Okay? Slightly different example. Okay? All right, the Rav Huna, Ulu Rav Huna, and to Rav, right, Rav Nachman to Rava bar Avuha, Ulu Rav Huna. And according to Rav Huna, the Amar Motzi Hamen Aziz Kol Shehu Umimale, who held the opinion that all you had to do was put that stick there as the projection. Zimnin Deleka Asara, V'kamatal Tel Mikarmalit L'Reshut Hayachid. Perhaps the depth of the water is not 10 tfachim, okay? And therefore you're going to wind up carrying from the Karmelit to Rishus HaYachid. Amarle, so his response then to him, Gamrinan de'ein sfina mahalechet b'pachot me'asara, that we generally have learned that a boat doesn't usually travel in less than 10 tfachim of water. Okay? But the Gemara raises the question about that. Right? Vaha morsha itla. But you say, what are you measuring from? There's this protrusion, there's this hull, okay? That the ship is, right? The boat is shaped. So are you measuring from the, let's say, the low part of the ship, okay? Or are you measuring from the top part of the ship where we said it sort of curves up, right? Is that where you're measuring from? Okay? This protrusion from the hull. Oftentimes in a Roman ship, it was a battering ram, okay? Right? Amar Rav Safra, and Rav Safra then says, Gishushe Azle Kama. Okay, says Rav Safra. Okay, that there are people who probe the water. In other words, as the ship goes, they have sticks that they put into the water to check the depth of the water. And they are either travel before the ship or they're in the front of the ship. Okay? Right? Amar le Rav Nachman, Bar Yitzchak le Rav Chia bar Avin. And Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak says to Rav Chia bar Avin, the Rav Chista ule Rabba bar Rav Huna. According to the view of Rav Chista and Rabba, the son of Rav Huna, the Amre Osei Makom Arba'a Umimale, that there that you say that you have to make this floating contraption with a hole in it to lower your bucket, let's say, according to them. Shofchin didei, if you want to pour something out of the, say, garbage or whatever, out of the boat. Hechi shadei lahom. Okay? How can you going to pour it into the same hole, your wastewater, into the same hole from which you're drawing fresh seawater? V'chitema, the shadei laho ba'oto makom, and if you're going to say that you're going to pour it into the same, let's say, location, ma'isele, that's detestable. It's repulsive to him. The shadei laho adafna desfina. No, what they do is they pour the wastewater on the side of the boat. All right? Vaha'ika kocho, says the Gemara. But here, it's still an example of a person putting his force behind it, right? Okay, so even if he doesn't throw it directly into the sea, he's indirectly doing an activity through his personal force. Wouldn't that make him a chayav? So the Gemara answers, Kocho b'kamalit lo gazru, that the rabbis did not make a decree when it comes to putting something into the Carmelit. Uminat Tamra, and on what basis do you say this? The Tanya, as there was taught in a Braita, Sfina ein metaltalim, lo mitocha liyam, v'lo min hayam litocha. That one may not carry water from it into the sea, or from the sea into it, right? We'll go over just a little bit on Kaf Aleph Amud Aleph, right? Just a bit. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, and Rabbi Yehuda says, Amuka Asara, that if the water is 10 handbreadth deep, Ve'en Gvoha Asara, but it's not 10 high, metaltalin mitocha leyam, avalo min hayam letocha. Okay, one can carry from it into the sea, right? But not from the sea into it. Okay, and so the Gemara is going to ask, Mai shana min hayam letocha? What's so different transporting it from the sea, which we said is a Carmelit, into the boat, which is a Rishus Yachid, Delo Kamataltalin Mikarmalit Rishus Yachid, right? That's the question, that you can't carry from the Carmelit into the private domain. Mitocha liyam, Nami Kamataltalel Mirishut Yachid the Carmelit, but from the inside, from the sea into the boat, isn't that also carrying, okay, from Carmelit to Rishus Yachid? Ella, he says, Lav Achuda. But rather we're talking about